When you first started looking at pornography, you probably never intended to get hooked. You just did it a time or two, and it felt good, and your brain liked it, so you did it some more. But as you keep looking at this stuff, it starts to rewire your brain so that you crave it more and more, and you keep coming back to it, even when you don't want to be. Then after you've been watching porn for a while, the negative consequences start to hit, like lower motivation, and you start to see bad things happening in your relationships, even things like memory loss or erectile dysfunction. And perhaps you've been noticing some of these things already, and that might be why you're watching this video. One of the worst things about pornography is the shame surrounding it. It's something people do in secret, and most people would never want others to know that this is going on. But the good news is you can overcome this with a reliable process. I'm Tyler Patterson. I created an app called Ever Accountable that has helped hundreds of thousands of people to break free from the chains of pornography. And in this video, I want to give you 5 tips to help you based on what we have found that's worked for others. Plus, at the end, I'm going to give you 2 more tips that I think are the most powerful of all. Let's dive in. Number 1, forgive yourself. Porn is awful, but you are not. You've felt how bad it is. And then one of the lies that somehow gets twisted around in our heads is that because we're looking at something awful, it means we are awful, but that is not true. And beating yourself up actually makes it harder to recover. So forgive yourself. Number 2, go cold turkey. And that means you have to decide that you have a zero tolerance policy for porn. And what does porn mean? What is the definition? I don't care what anybody else says. If it is sexually alluring to you, then it is porn to you. And you cannot stand for it. You have to get rid of all of it. If it's something you see in a movie, on a billboard, turn your eyes away from it, get away from it. If it's online, if it is starting to give you that feeling, get away immediately. It is porn. Because if you give yourself even the smallest leeway, then your subconscious will use that as an excuse, and the porn will come back. 0 is the only amount of porn that works. When you say it's 0 and I'm not going to tolerate anything, all of a sudden, it gets simpler and it gets sustainable and it gets easier. Number 3 is to get rid of your stash. Now, this is something that in the old days, people would have a stack of magazines or they would have like a folder on their computer full of trash. Porn doesn't really work that way for most people nowadays, but the principle still applies. You have to get rid of any source you have of porn. And if it's Instagram or if it's TikTok, that has to go. I wish there was a way of a switch on Instagram you could say, give me 0 porn. But to my knowledge, that isn't there. And if it was there, it probably wouldn't work right anyway. So if there is a source where porn is coming into your life, it has to go. I had a friend some years ago who had a bunch of garbage in that he was mixed up with. And he said, all right, Tyler, I'm going to get rid of it. And we actually took it up into the canyon and started a campfire and we burned it. But he didn't burn all of it. He kept a few things out of the box. And guess what? It came right back. He didn't burn all I don't know what he was thinking. You can't get rid of 98% of this problem and expect that it's going to 98% stay gone. No, if you get rid of 98% of your porn and hold on to just 2%, it will come back 100%. 0 is the only number that works. It is actually easier to shut it off at the source. It is easier to get rid of Instagram than it is to fight off a porn urge when Instagram serves you up something that you didn't want to see. Get rid of your stash and get rid of any source of porn coming into your life. Number 4, learn how porn affects you and those you love. Porn messes with every element, every part of your life. And that's the truth. And just feel it. Feel the pain. That'll help you to change. Let me just list a few things. First, porn affects your brain chemistry. It reduces your willpower, makes it harder to focus on things that are important. Porn makes it so that you're less satisfied with good, wholesome relationships, the relationships that you desperately, deeply want to have. We all hear about the horrible consequences it can lead to, and it does. This doesn't happen to every person, but it happens to a lot of people. Like, you can start craving things that are deviant, even illegal. Half of divorces list porn as one of the contributors. So porn can actually destroy or lead to the destruction of marriages and important relationships. It can lead to abuse. erectile dysfunction. I talked to a therapist once, and he said, we all hear about those really bad consequences that pornography can lead to. And it absolutely does. That stuff happens. It could happen to you. But those don't happen every time. But what does happen every time is that where your relationship could have been a 10, porn puts a damper on it. A 7 is the best you can expect now in your relationship. Where your life could have been a 10, the best you can expect now is somewhere around a 5 or a 7. Porn prevents you from really becoming all that you can be and having all that you can have and being close. And it just might lead to all those other horrible things that we talked about too. But this is all reversible by acting as soon as you can. Act now. Take action now to stop this. Not, let me look at porn one more time and I'll change tomorrow. You and I both know that that's not going to happen. Tip number 5 is to get an accountability partner. This means that you have one person with whom you can be totally open and honest. Porn thrives in secrecy. It thrives in the dark. And when you shine a light on it, just like shining a light on a cockroach, it will run, it flees. And so you need to find one person to whom you can be honest. And the way I've done this is I've built an app called Ever Accountable. You put this app on your phone, your computer, all your devices, and it records where you go to and sends that information to your accountability partner. Think of it. Everywhere you go, someone else can see. Of course, there's an AI that flags things that might be a bit dodgy. But knowing that someone can see where you're going online, all of a sudden the temptation is gone. Because when you have the urge to go scroll around somewhere or look somewhere where you shouldn't, you'll remember, hey, someone's going to see what I'm doing, and you don't go there. Our statistics show that 95% of people who install this app immediately reduce their porn usage by a lot. And for most, it goes all the way to 0 immediately. Where do you see stats that good? 95% success immediately. That's the power of accountability. I didn't invent the principle of accountability. It's been around forever. But by applying it through technology, it's a game changer. If you don't have an accountability partner, that's okay. We can help you find somebody. All right. Those are the 5 tips that we promised. And now for the last 2, the bonus tips. And these are the most important of all, the most powerful of all. The first one is never stop doing all in your power to stay away from pornography. Do everything you can and never give up. It sounds so simple. And yet I believe that is so powerful. And I believe you will succeed. You will succeed if you just do everything you can and you never give up. Last bonus tip, number 7, best one of all, is lean in to your higher power. Whatever name you call your higher power by, whether it be Jesus or Allah or nature or something else like that, ask your higher power for help. This is something that they discovered in Alcoholics Anonymous a long time ago, is believing that there is something that is stronger than you and stronger than the monster that you're facing brings a lot of strength. So to recap, the 7 tips are, number 1, forgive yourself. Number 2, go cold turkey. Number 3, throw away your stash, all of it. Remember, 0 is the only amount of porn you can tolerate. Number 4, learn how porn affects you and those you love. It's awful. And just feel that and use it to get away from that monster. Number 5, get accountable. Number 6, never stop. Never quit trying, never quit doing everything in your power. You will succeed. Number 7, lean in to your higher power.